What would have been different if the COVID pandemic happened in the 90s? No WFH.
Less international travel, more chance of early containment in China. But if, once it became a global pandemic, even more death, no way it would have been gene sequenced as remarkably quickly as it was, and no mRNA vaccines to accelerate distribution.
Dustin Hoffman would have saved us, obviously.
Considering by 2000 we finally sequenced a human genome, and it cost $1 billion. Just sequencing COVID-19 and its variants, the first step in the process of vaccine development, would have taken up significant money and time. Then to actually develop an mRNA vaccine against a coronavirus, man, who knows how long that would take in 1991.
On the one hand, medical technology wasn't as advanced, and so finding a cure or treatment would have taken a lot longer, if ever, so maybe there would have been an even higher death toll. On the other hand, the internet wasn't as prevalent in society and there wouldn't have been anywhere near the amount of misinformation floating around, so maybe the spread would have been more confined and death toll would have been lower.
I'd guess that on the whole more people would have died. This is mainly because of the state of vaccine production then, ability to spool up mass production, and the utter lack of work from home options. Granted, this varies if it happens in 1990 versus 1999, but I suspect more people would have died, just due to no viable work from home options for 95% plus of people out there. That being said, it might have resulted in a major push into video phones, not video calls as we know them now, but actual video phones like you'd see in 80s and 90s movies trying to predict the future. There's also the possibility that if it happened before the full collapse of the Soviet Union, there would have been rampant paranoia that the virus was a Soviet revenge plot or attack of some kind.
Very, very ugly. No vaccine. No Paxlovid. No monoclonal antibodies not that efficient with COVID, but these didn't even exist. No quick sequencing or information sharing to identify strains or even a new virus. No quick testing for screening or identifying COVID instead of flu. 1990s were also before pandemic planning started to be taken more seriously with the rise of SARS and H5N1. No remote learning and very little remote working capacity, meaning much more economic and education disruption when you strip off all the drugs. COVID is a formidable beast indeed. It probably breaks out in most major global cities almost simultaneously.
We would have had a lot of people who had lived through Spanish flu around to inform our perspective on what people would do and wouldn't.
Making a vaccine would have taken longer, and it wouldn't have been as good. Plus, less access to rapid testing would limit our ability to control it by quarantining. Overall, it would result in a higher death rate.
Many more people would have listened to the doctors, and there would no anti-vaccine mens those folks use as education.